But
Sorry.
that's right. I hate that it does that now.
I
Tell me
know.
what the biggest rock has been in your shoe. So if you have any time to complain, do it now. Because I don't ever give that opportunity because we never complain about anything. But tell me about the biggest rock in your shoe that is preventing you from having the business that you want to have. And that is going to be the theme of today. Because we all have rocks in our shoe. We all have reasons on why we're not where we want to be, and how we get there and how we get rid of the rock in our shoe is really, truly, it's all the same way. We have to change our mindset. And we all hold on to old beliefs, and we all create the distractions that prevent us from doing what we know that we have to do. So that the natural tendency is A, make this excuse, and B, create the distraction. It can be consciously and it can be subconsciously, but usually during our day, we know that we have to make our phone calls, and it's very easy to say, oh, but I have to do this, or oh, I have to do that. Is it a true distraction that has to be done? It's another high level activity higher than making the business happen, or is it a distraction preventing you from doing what you don't want to do? And you're all lying if you're saying that there's nothing that's
we all do it. We all do it. It's just
even when you're performing.
When I'm doing my stats,
yes,
I don't want to do the stats, so I find different things to do. Yes. It eventually gets done, but I try to avoid it as long as I can, because it's just not very fun. It's a dry kind of task to do. So you find things that
if you have the option to make a post on Facebook and watch all of the likes and loves and comments, you're going to do that rather than make a phone call. And even when you sit down to make the phone calls, you're still going to be more distracted on the Facebook post than you are giving full-time attention to making the phone calls, because it feels good when people respond to Facebook comments. It feels good when things are happening that you're getting a reaction from people. What doesn't feel good is to sit down and call somebody that you might potentially get hung up on. And it doesn't feel good to sit there and think about calling people and feeling like a telemarketer, and they're not going to like you because you're the telemarketer. We have to overcome those beliefs in our mind to be able to say, I'm not the telemarketer. I may have had a situation that happened in my past, but I'm not going to bring it and let that win and stop me from wanting to move forward. Lead quality. Well, we can all blame lead quality, but to what extent are we blaming the lead quality? Are you doing everything that it takes to exhaust it to be able to not have that as an excuse and make it, okay, that's the reality. I have called these people X amount of times. I have texted them. I have done this. I have done everything humanly possible. Something's just wrong with the quality. Or are we just looking at it? We called them once and nobody answers the phone. Or every lead's a bad phone number because you have one that's a bad phone number, because we tend to focus on the negative. And then
I call them once. These are all bad leads. No one answers. Like, you called them one time. I'm pretty sure every time your phone rings, you don't answer it every single time. People are very cautious these days as to what they're answering, especially if they don't recognize the phone number. And that's the importance of consistency of your calls, so they start to recognize that phone number.
Yeah. And we've been playing with voicemails. I have literally been leaving voicemails, and it's different times, right? 5 years ago, don't leave them, right? And I don't leave them the first quite a few, because I want to see who's going to pick up the phone. I want that consistency to be there, and I want them to think on the other end, who keeps calling me from this number? And they're eventually going to pick it up. And just play with it and stop making excuses. So what's been going on in my world? I was managing a team here in Atlanta for quite a few months, and I wasn't in alignment. Things just weren't going the way that I thought they should have been going. And when I resigned from managing that team, the agents were like, well, wait, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We don't have anybody managing the team. We can't go back to the way it was before. So I was like, okay, I ran a team in Virginia. I had all my systems in place. Let's start a team in Atlanta. So I jumped in. I started 2 different lead sources, created my team, got my LLC put together, and leads started coming in June, mid to end of June. I got everything connected. I got my second source connected by July. Today is September 1st. We have 1 closed transaction, and we have 3 buyers under contract and 1 listing under contract.
Nice.
I started at ground zero. I am in a place that I really don't have any sphere. I have no family here. I don't know anybody here. I have 3 agents on my team. And you may be sitting there saying, yeah, but Bev, you've been calling leads and you've been in the industry. I'm in an unknown area. And I look at this as every day that I woke up, we're unemployed in this business. But every day that I woke up, I did something that's going to carry me and make me better every single day. And I purposely positioned myself with what brings me joy in my day. And that's what led to the agents coming on my team, because I purposely was putting myself into situations that was going to get me to where I want to go. Did I know what it was going to look like? I had no plans or intentions on starting a team again. None, 0. I have been calling leads through my company since 2016, which in my math calculation, has been 5 years, January. So we're 5 years and how many months? I've been calling leads for other teams, for other agents, building best practices in multiple different platforms. I have not been sitting back eating bonbons and watching Netflix. I have been going through the motions to prepare myself to be able to start a team, know the systems, trust the process, and make it happen. So I say that with so much love to be able to say, if you're not where you want to be, it's because you're not taking the proper action and you're not trusting the process. If you don't know the process, talk to somebody. There's so many freaking Facebook groups out there, and everybody has so many situations in place and systems in place. Get a damn coach. Stop making excuses, because you can make it happen. So I'm going to go on a tangent here, because this was my mindset, and I'm going to be very extremely vulnerable right now, because I think this is so vitally important for everyone to hear. When I moved from Pennsylvania to Virginia, I had a 4-year-old, and just bear with me that this is a great story. I had a 4-year-old that never slept the night. So any of you moms out there, I'm sure, can truly identify with your kids not sleeping and not getting a full night's rest. She's 4 years old. I gave birth to my son. She starts sleeping the night. But my newborn was not sleeping the night. My only time that I had to myself was in the afternoons, when my son would be napping and my daughter would be out playing, or she started kindergarten. When would my doorbell ring? When my son was napping, right? So I disconnected my doorbell, because that was my only sanity. I had 2 big dogs. When the doorbell rang, boo, 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 I couldn't even get out the door, right? You get 2 big dogs jumping at the door. You're trying to get out the door, and you're like, oh my God. And they're Jehovah's Witness, or there's somebody selling security systems. I'm going to go on the far side and say that was a trauma to me, because it affected me in that moment so dramatically, because I just needed my own sanity of my own time. So let's fast forward into real estate. What does every coach tell you to do? Door knock. Hail to the no. I am not door knocking, because I am not going to create that inconvenience for any other being, because I know how much it changed my life to the negative, because I hated when people knocked at my door. And I still to this day do not answer my door when anybody knocks at it. So my limiting belief, my story, my old story, goes back to feeling that moment when my doorbell rang, and that anxiety that just resided in me so horribly, that when I would think about door knocking, I felt that same anxiety. Are y'all with me here when you go to pick up the phone and make the phone call? That feeling of discomfort that you don't like. which i.e., let's create the distraction. Let's create the excuse, because this feeling sucks and it reminds me of that really bad moment. So I'm not going to do it. And you probably, at one point, if you've been following me long enough, probably heard me say out of my mouth, I will not door knock. I do not believe in door knocking. If you want to go do it, have at it. But that's not me. I've been in real estate since 2005. I never door knocked on a door until Sunday. So for those of you that have been following me, I will never say, do as I say, not as I do. I will never expect anybody to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. So if I don't do it, I'm not going to train it. I'm not going to coach it. I'm not going to teach it. But what I do, I just said do, I will take my biggest weakness and turn it into my most important strength, because I know what it will take to rise above. And rising above, A, is overcoming your own fears, and B, doing what other people are not willing to do. And my big joke this week, because I always like love my analogies. When you think about a baby that's learning how to walk, they are freaking relentless. They fall, they get up, they fall, they get up. Well, now they don't have very far to fall. As we do as adults, we have a lot further to fall. We have a lot more to hurt, right? But babies are very relentless. And I'm like, thank God we don't pop out of the womb at 20 years old, because there wouldn't be a human in this world that would be walking. We'd all be crawling, because it is freaking hard to walk, to learn how to walk. So going back to the door knocking, not only is this a huge fear for me, went with my buyer agent. And what pushed us to do this is we do have a client that's relocating, and she has a very distraught story on why she's coming back to this area. And her story moved us so much that that was more important than our fear of door knocking. So I'm like, let's just go do it together. Let's just go make it happen. We meet at the property. I thought I was there, but the way the GPS took me, you know how you have like, and I don't know if y'all have this in Canada, you can have a subdivision that has the same street name, but it's circle, path, right? Court,
yeah.
So it took me in the
Lane.
wrong spot, and I'm like, ooh, squirrel, there's an open house. So I'm parked on the street, the wrong street, and my buyer agent calls me. She's like, I'm here inside the gate. Where are you? And I'm like, oh, wait, there's a gate? I said, I'm not where you are then. And she goes, well, she goes, I got through the gate. I had to follow somebody because we don't have the gate code. And I'm like, I'm already afraid of door knocking. Now we're door knocking in a gated community. Can you imagine what's going through my head? I say, Kimberly, do you really think we should be door knocking? Excuse, right? Do you really think we should be door knocking in a community that's gated? Aren't they going to be questioning how we got in here? Aren't we going to be getting resistance? Excuse, because I don't want to door knock. Even though we're moved by the client, I'm still having the chatter. She goes, Bev, just follow a car. And that's what I did. I'm like, oh God, I said, Kimberly, isn't that like, cause they're not going to be wondering like, ooh, following me in. So a car comes up. That anxiety of remembering when my doorbell rang was very present. I'm following the car in. There's a car behind me. There's another car behind that car, all watching us go in. I get behind her. We go to the house. The first house we're going to start door knocking at. I'm still making excuses in my head's going, you really shouldn't be doing this. These people are going to be so mad. You're in a gated community. This is all going through my head. I knock on the door. No, well, I actually rang the doorbell. The same anxiety that I had way back when is still there. This was not fun. I hated every second of it. And he comes to the door, right? I ring the doorbell. Please don't answer the door. Please don't answer the door. Please don't answer the door. Oh God, there's somebody coming to the door. He's going to answer the door. What am I going to say? He opens the door. I said, hey, I'm Beverly with EXP. We're just doing I fumbled it horribly. It was not comfortable. I hated it. And he said, nope, because we are happy here. We love our community. We're not planning on moving. Do you know of any neighbors that might be? He's like, I don't. We don't get out much. I don't really know a whole lot of neighbors. Okay. the next door, he was out in the garage. Frick! He's gonna wonder who we are walking up his driveway. How did we get in the neighborhood? The whole voice, right? Well, now this guy's like, what's EXP? I'm like, well, like what rocket you? I don't know. Like, you don't even know my real estate company. So then I had to change my script, right? Because it didn't work. Hey, this is Beverly. I'm a real estate agent with EXP. Oh God, what's he gonna say? He's gonna tell us to go away. Oh, hey, how are you today? God, it's hot out. What are you guys doing? Well, we have a client, blah, blah, blah. He goes, oh, he says, you know what? Our HOA vice president, he lives over on the other street. He was talking about possibly moving in the spring. This is his address. His name's Ron. Okay, make the note. He goes, oh, and by the way, the builder that built this subdivision built another subdivision in another location, which our clients would be interested in. I'll text you when my wife gets home and give you the name of the builder. Every home that we door knocked on, it got a little bit easier. It got a little bit easier. And at the end of the day, that guy did text us with the information. And we also had a woman that said, she texted Kimberly and she said, you knocked on our door this afternoon. And she goes, my husband got home and I told him what you guys were doing. He wants to know how much your buyer would offer for us for our home. They had been in their home for 12 years. They paid $450,000 for it, and our client's willing to pay $900,000. She's doing a video tour today. So I say this to say, you all think I got it all going on, that I can call these leads, and oh my God, I wish I was like Beverly. It's still just as difficult for me, guys. And I just want you to look at us all as complete equals. I still have the bullshit that goes through my head that might go through your head when you sit down and make your phone calls. The only difference is taking the action, is being able to feel that anxiety and work with it, because it's not serving me a purpose to meet my bigger goal. And she was an internet lead, folks. And she was working with another agent that was not willing to do what she needed them to do. And to wake up the next morning to an email from this buyer saying that she lost her daughter to cancer, or their only daughter to cancer. And she said, I'm gonna get emotional. She says, I'm sitting in her bedroom the night before. She didn't even know we were going out door knocking that morning. She said, I was sitting in her bedroom the night before and my husband came walking in and we sat there and reminisced and cried and realized we have to right now put this home on the market and take a leap of faith that the angels are going to work together to provide us a home in this neighborhood that we want to be in. That's the email I woke up to the next morning. Get over your freaking fears, people, because the reality is you have lives that you can literally change for people. We have no idea what is behind their front door. We have no idea what is behind the phone. But for that one person that we can make a difference because we got over a stupid fear that's holding us back from the dreams that we know we deserve, but we're afraid to take the action to get there. Feel it and do it anyway. I don't care if it's door knocking or calling the phone, it's the same freaking anxiety. It sucks. Because we're people pleasers. We want people to like us. And if we call them and they hang up on us, we feel that we're not liked. But it's okay, because it'll make a difference for one person.
Can't have everyone like you anyway.
Exactly.
What everyone thinks isn't any of our business, right? We always get caught up on what other people perceive and view us as, rather than how we look at ourselves. We're always looking to do that.
I wanted to share that story because I hear all the time, God, I wish I could talk on the phone like Beverly. Mm-hmm. I wish I could be like that. Well, let me tell you, you don't wish you could be like me door knocking, because I flubbed it up horribly. But you got to start somewhere.
Yeah. It's those uncomfortable situations that only make you grow, right? Because the more you do it, it got easier and easier and easier. And so you develop your script for door knocking no differently than you're developing your script as you're talking to people. You do more harm by not reaching out to them, by reaching out to them and perhaps not saying everything you wanted to or anticipated you were going to say, or how you anticipated the conversation was going to go. Yeah, so it's getting over those hurdles, really, and it's just doing it.
We tell ourselves the story we want to believe, and that's not the reality. We don't have a reality until we take the action. Mm-hmm. And we can literally create the reality that we keep telling ourselves. Because if we say it's going to suck and nobody wants to talk to us and the phone numbers are all bad and they're all just looking, we're creating that reality because that's what we truly believe, and what we believe we're going to get. But if we don't
anticipate it too, right? Yeah, we anticipate that. So we almost start asking those questions trying to get to that answer that we know is just going to be the answer anyway. So let's just beat the bush and get to the fact that I know I'm right. These people aren't ready to buy.
So why am I doing it? Mm-hmm. We just validated our own truths based on our old story. So it's literally changing that mindset and be able to say, is this an old story from something that's happened to me in the past, or is this the reality? The stories that I was saying in my head had nothing to do with the relevance of what was happening right then in that moment. The reality was we knocked on over 20 doors. Only 2 people weren't home, but we had amazing conversations with incredible people. And we broadened our database. Mm-hmm. And the reality, we look at giving AgentLocator money to receive buyer leads that are just looking. But the reality is you are investing in your overall business because you're building data, you're building your inventory in your store for somebody that's going to be moving, because everybody in this world moves. There's not one person on this earth that has not moved. Even homeless people move. Everybody moves. We just don't know when that time frame is going to be. So if you do go door knocking, you are now capturing leads that if you find somebody that may be wanting to make a move, you have something to tell all your leads. Hey, I have a home in this market or in this subdivision that's possibly selling. Try to find the buyer so you can go back to that home and say, hey, I have somebody that wants a subdivision. Utilize your dashboard for more reasons than just picking up the phone and making the phone calls. You're building an entire business of inventory of a fully stocked grocery store. You know, we just had the big hurricane that just hit Louisiana here. And they were showing the grocery store aisles and how it was raided and empty and completely gone, right? That's not the business you want. You don't want empty inventory sitting in a store. There's no value. But you have a fully stocked and loaded store with full inventory. There's a ton of value in that. And that's how we have to look at our dashboard. And the more conversations that we're having, the more quality that database is worth. But if we're not having the conversations, it's just like empty inventory. It's just numbers and emails with no relevance. So it's not about the appointment. It's about finding out where they are in the process so that the bananas aren't in the laundry detergent aisle, because the bananas will rot. You want to keep the bananas with the bananas so that all the bananas sell, so you can keep restocking your inventory and keep refreshing, keep adding to. I'm off my soapbox. Is anybody now? So Maria started typing something. She's, I used to door knock until a house owner asked ... Well, I'm dying to know what they asked. You kind of stopped in mid there. Dying to know what they asked. So I do have a recording. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but the very beginning of it, the first 4 minutes, is extremely valuable in asking the right questions to get the results. And it was one of my leads that we converted. And I really want to play it. But I'm dying to know what Maria with the homeowner. I hope she's still on and listening, because I'm really dying to know what the homeowner asked. And, you know, it's one of those things where an action always creates a reaction.
Mhm.
We are not responsible for the reaction. When we take the reaction personally, that's what stops us in our tracks and prevents us from moving forward, because we think we caused that. So yes, if you look at it, I went and door knocked. This happened. I did create that, but their story is not for you to carry. We can't help that they had something in their past happen that created their action. We're looking for the people that want to make a step forward, just like phone calling. Next, next, next. Do you think I'm going to sell with somebody that knocks doors? You know what, Maria? We had a gentleman invite us into his home. We knocked, and I said, "Hey, I'm Beverly I'm a real estate agent with EXP. This is my partner, Kimberly." And he says, "Do you want to come on in?" We walked in, and he's from Spain, and he's only been there 2 years, because we were like, should we knock on the door? Because we did all of our homework. We knew exactly, right? And he works for Clorox. And he has been relocated a couple of times, which brought him to Atlanta. And this is what he said to us. He said, "I'm not planning on making a move. We love our home." He says, "But I literally could be relocated at any moment, because they're just good at that." And he said, "I will keep your card, because anybody that's going to be out in this heat, working for their client and doing what you're doing, that's the person I want to do business with, because you are doing everything you can to get a home sold." And I respect that. So for that person, they just don't recognize your value. That's all that is. And they're taking their personal story and now making it your story, preventing you from door knocking and doing what you can make happen. Don't let them win just because it's their story. Because that next homeowner right next door may have been the one that would have said, "Yeah, I'm ready to sell." Or, "Not right now, but the springtime I am." If we stop and we don't finish, we never see the end results. So I look at that situation of that homeowner is preventing you from winning because of his story. So we have a choice. We truly have a choice on what are our high-level activities that we need to be doing in our business to make our business work, to make our business happen. One of my coaching clients today, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna cold call. I'm gonna call my expireds and my FSBOs." Every week, no calls. Every week, no calls. He's like, "I'm going networking tonight. I'm creating postcards, and I'm going to really build my business and a referral network." Great. Don't want to stop you from doing that. How many phone calls did you make? So we went through the high-level activity checklist, and you all have probably heard me say this before. Number one is sitting at the settlement table where you're collecting your check. Number two is in front of a client, whether at a listing appointment or showing a property. Number three is having the conversation with the new client. Number two is prospecting to be able to have the conversation with the client. And then at fifth level, right? One, at the settlement table. Two, talking to the client. Three, making the phone calls. Four, prospecting to get there. Number one, target your market. Who are you going to be calling? What kind of phone calls are you going to make? Know your market, know your stats, know your numbers. What you focus on expands. A very targeted, aimed focus helps you hit the bullseye much sooner and more adequately than just aiming at thin air, right? If you're aiming at air, you're never going to hit a bullseye. If you're aiming at a bullseye, at least you can hit the paper. So I asked him, I said, "What is making you go and network?" I said, I'm looking at you wanting to sit at a settlement table. If you're out talking to 200 agents in a different market looking for a referral, if you talk to 200 agents, what are the odds of that agent having a referral to hand you right now? He said, probably slim, none. I said, you leave today to go to that networking event. What time do you leave? And he said, 4 o'clock. I said, what time do you get home? 7:30. I'm like 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6. I said, that's 3.5 hours. How many phone calls could you make in 3.5 hours? Circle prospecting or expireds. He said, probably over 300 to 400 with the dialer. I'm like, uh-huh. I said, out of those 300 to 400 phone calls, what's the probability of finding somebody that might be selling their home within the next 6 months? He said, pretty high. I said, now tell me what your high level activity is that you should be spending your time doing. We have to make choices that are going to lead us to the settlement table. Instead, we make excuses. We create distractions.
Networking is the easy way out. You go mingle and chat, and it's easy, right? You're comfortable doing that.
It's chasing the Facebook post and reading the comments.
Mm-hmm.
It's chasing that need of feeling important, of attracting people that, oh my God, I haven't heard from them. Oh my God, it's the feel-good moment. It's the high of sitting at the bar, right? Having the drink, forgetting about life. It's the addiction because it feels good. I'm really on a tangent today. Okay, so Maria says, haha, I used to door knock and leave door hangers, and I got no buyers or sellers. I'm not afraid and love door knocking, but in the COVID years, I'm afraid and have argument and pointed as an irresponsible agent. It's so funny you say that, Maria, because my thought process is just a natural reaction for me to stick out my hand, right? I was never the fist bumper, the elbow bumper, like it just didn't even make sense to me. And the first door, hey, I'm Beverly Ruffner. I'm like, oh God, I just stuck out my hand. But it's such a natural reaction. There was not one single door that we knocked on that did not shake my hand. Everybody shook my hand. And I'm like, oh God, right? I could repeat that story in my head over and over and over again. But here's the reality. You door knock on 100 doors and you find that one listing appointment, was it worth it? Because that one listing appointment that sees your value and respects what you're doing is going to be a raving fan, because they're going to think, oh my God, I cannot believe you're out here during COVID, doing what you're doing to build your business. That's the kind of agent I want. Do you really want the other people that have the little pea brain that's like, I can't believe you're out during COVID, knocking on doors? I don't even want that client anyway. Good, you just eliminated me off your list. Pooh, good. I'm looking for the one, because isn't our business much more fun when we're working with people that respect our value? So grab your pens. This is a really powerful line. So for those of you that are afraid of collecting transaction fees or increasing your commission, in the absence of value, compensation is questioned. In the absence of value, compensation is questioned, which is why you have to know your market. Because when you deliver value, compensation will never be questioned. Out of our 5 contracts that we have right now, 2 of them, we're offering 2.5% commission to the buyer agent. We charge 3%. Mr. Buyer, I'm sorry, but the seller is only willing to pay 2.5% of our commissions of 3%. And we do charge a $6.95 transaction fee. So I don't want you to be surprised on the HUD or settlement statement, whatever you call it in Canada, when you see a fee going to EXP for 0.5% and $6.95. Okay, I understand. Neither of my agents would have that conversation. It was on a 3-way call between me, the client, and my agent. Because my agent says, I can't ask them that. And then when I had that conversation, they're like, okay, I understand. I totally understand. They were like, what? Again, in the absence of value, questions compensation.
It's also the fear of confrontation, right? So it's not, you're not coming to someone with good news. So you anticipate the confrontation and the rejection of what you're about to say. So we don't want to say it at all because we don't want to have that feeling. We'd rather just, oh, we'll just push it under the bus and carry on. It's fine. We'll just do 2.5%.
Yep. And the call that I'm going to get ready to play, I need to, why is it not? Hang on one second, exit full screen, there we go. The call that I'm getting ready to play completely emulated value.
Morning, Huda.
Hey.
This is Beverly checking in. You were on Realtor.com last night looking at a property over on Morningstar, and just wanted to check in and get an idea of kind of what can we help you with? What are you looking for?
Yeah, that townhouse, I was just looking if it's still available or not.
And I do believe, I'm going to pull it here right quick. I think it is under contract already.
Okay.
Welcome to our market, right? How long have you been looking?
So like a couple months.
Okay. Have you been in any homes, or you just been doing this online like this?
No, I've been already seeing some houses.
And are you working with an agent or anything? Are you committed to anybody?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So my suggestion.
Now, do you see how I'm not giving her information? I'm looking the property up while I'm asking her questions to keep her on the phone. I haven't given you the answer completely yet, but while I'm checking, I'm going to dig and ask the questions because she really doesn't have any choice, because she asked a question that I'm slowly getting to the answer.
Let me ask this question. Are you 110% satisfied with what they're doing for you as far as getting properties to you?
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, what you said?
Are you 100% confident that they're doing everything they possibly can for you to help you get a property and position as a well-written contract? Oh, you hang on one second, Huda. I think you connected to Bluetooth or something because you went away.
Did I?
That's better.
Okay, that's better now?
Yes.
Okay. No, it's not 100%. That's why, because sometimes when I ask, I don't get the answer how I want. So.
And have you signed anything with them? Are you committed to them, or do we have the ability to earn your business? I guess is what I'm asking.
No, it's fine. It's just the only thing. Yesterday we went to see a townhouse.
Now the truth comes out. So think about how you would have proceeded with this conversation, knowing that they went yesterday looking at a townhome.
Same subdivision.
Okay.
But the price they ask like $350. I just want to make sure, see how, if that one already sold, how much it was sale. If it's not, that at least if I didn't get that one, I can have the other choice, the one I sent you.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm hearing is it's that you want to make sure that you're going to be writing the best offer and not be going too far over value.
Yeah, exactly.
Am I stepping on toes right now? Probably. She was a lead that came into my website that gave me her phone number, that was interested in a property. And she's telling me her story. She went, looked at the property, they put a contract on it. She's feeling uncomfortable with the price they went at. Carry on.
So
I want to get it. I want to get it so bad. I love it, but I don't want to be like something over is not worth it in the same time. But yeah, and I was like, I saw that one on sale. I think this morning I just saw that it looked stingy. I just was realizing how much could be good.
Well, and that's the question, right? And Huda, this industry, it's 2021. So many people have their real estate
Nobody take offense to this, but this is the honest to God truth.
And who do you trust? And this is a big investment you're getting ready to take on. And does it make sense for the overall picture for what you're going to pay? This particular one is under contract, and they did have multiple offers, and it was listed at $349,000.
So the home that she looked at was active. The home that she came into Realtor.com looking at was already under contract. But what she was looking for is, this home was listed at this. My agent's telling me to write the contract at this, but it doesn't feel like it's right. So she was online doing her due diligence because something wasn't feeling right.
We will not have any data until it actually closes, and it's not supposed to close until August 24th.
Okay.
Because agents don't release that information until it actually closes, because if the offer would fall through, you know, they don't want to put the number out there yet.
But do you think it's worth it to put like 380 on it or not?
She has an agent, folks. Did you hear what she said in the beginning? When I'm talking to my agent, I'm not getting the answers that I'm looking for.
90?
I cannot answer that educatedly right now, because I would need to really go in and research that specific market and see what's happening.
Okay, one more question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
If like we put a lot on it just to own it, to win and get it, and then in the Abzire, what do you call it? The people that the check how much is worth, like the loan, the lender.
As far as the appraisal?
Yeah, the appraisal. We can ask for them after that to drop the price, at least to meet like in the middle.
And that's what's fun right now, right? Have you written any offers on anything yet, or would this be your first one?
We did before. I did. Like I bought like more, like about 3-4 houses. We bought like another 20,000 extra, and we still didn't get it. Now I'm trying to put like more, like another 30-40 bucks on the top of what they're asking, and see when the price will come. Do you think it will work just to be fair with us, to drop it down a little bit?
Yeah. Well, and that's where there's so many factors, because sometimes it's not just the price. It's what kind of financing are you doing? Do you have an option to close quickly? And if the seller wants to stay and do a rent back, it's giving the seller exactly what they want, and not just sometimes about that price. It's how much money are you willing to put up in the earnest money? Because if you're putting, are you doing conventional financing, or are you doing cash?
We're doing both. Like we're doing like the 350. We have like the, what they call the loan.
Okay.
We already get approved for that. But we have like another like cash. We have cash like about 20%.
Okay.
Or we can do more than 20% if we want.
And you don't need to, right? Because it's not going to make a difference in your mortgage, only just in your payment. So use other people's money. But, you know, what I'm saying is, as far as the money for the earnest money, you can increase that, because you're putting 20% down anyway. So that money comes back to you at settlement. So if you're willing to write, you're basically saying, I want this property, and I'm willing to put this money on the line to guarantee the sale of this property. And then the other piece is the lender that you're using. Have they given you full approval that you could do a 2-week close, if possible? Are you completely non-contingent on financing? Have they taken you through the underwriting process, and so you can really position your offer as basically good as cash? Because
we can. Like
okay. You know,
anything is like, you know, I really want it and we want to get it, but like if they put like 150, we want to do like more and other, like just, you know, with the other people just to get it.
Exactly.
But honestly, in the end, when the house is like the value of it, I check already, it costs like Okay, let's say 350. It's not 350, it's like 300. It's just the last one is just like 300. But they bought it now because the market is very high, they bought it 350. We will get it with this price or more another 10,000. Like in the bridal time, if we just make like let's say 400 now we can pay for it. It's just to on now. And then in the bridal time, just we can,
I'm going to fast
negotiation.
forward this just a bit because the bomb's going to drop. And I don't know if I'm going to catch the bomb dropping because I only have so much.
Offers and not really educating the buyer on protecting their investment.
Her agent explained nothing to them. And they did write an offer on this property. And this is a 40-minute conversation, folks, that I had with this lady. Come to find out, they put the offer on the property. I was looking in the MLS in this subdivision. This home was listed at $335,000. She wanted to rate it at $350,000. And she said to the agent, I do not want to lose this house. What do I have to write this contract at? She says $400,000. And I said, please tell me that you're protected on appraisal because the last sale in there that just closed a week ago closed at $350,000. It is not going to appraise for $400,000. She goes, oh my God, what am I going to do? I said, I can't tell you what you can do because you already wrote a contract with another agent. But hypothetically, if you were my mom, I wouldn't let you see that contract through because if they accept it, you're going to be stuck because there was no due diligence. I said, can you please look at your contract for me and make sure that you are protected with the appraisal? She said, my husband signed it. I have no idea what we signed. He just signed it because she said to rate it at 400. She sent me the contract. I said, Huda, you are not protected with the appraisal. I said, they are going to accept this offer and you are going to have to come to the table. I had to explain to her what it meant with the appraised value, her 20% down, the difference in cash. They did not have the difference in cash to make up the difference. But the agent had them sign that freaking contract. She was mortified. Was I ever going to get that deal? I spent 40 minutes with her. I'm like, well, whatever. I helped her. I called her the next day, which is also recorded. I said, Huda, I'm just checking in to see what happened with that offer. She says, we adjusted it to 380 and we put an appraisal contingency in it. And I did explain to her, if someone comes in at 350 cash, they're taking it. Because you could offer 500,000 with an appraisal contingency, it doesn't matter. Because you have 20 days or 15 days or whatever for that contingency for the offer to fall through, for you to get out of the offer. So they're going to take the sure thing. She goes, we didn't get it. They didn't take our offer. I said, Huda, do I now have the opportunity to earn your business? And her husband was listening in the car. He says, yes, I'm tired of this agent taking the homes that my wife is looking at online, sending them to her, and then her writing the contract. I said, okay, I'm going to connect you with my rockstar agent, Kim. She's going to send you some properties. Let's start process of eliminating. Let's see what we can make happen for you. This was at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I called Kim at like 5 or 6 o'clock and I said, did you ever hear back from her? She's like, I never heard back from her. What do? We never called the person back because we sent the listings. It's up to them to get back to us, right? No, I called her. I said, Huda, what's going on? I said, Kimberly sent you the properties. What's happening? She says, well, she goes, the other agent did send us a property that I went to see. I love it. I want to put a contract on it. Frick, all that time, right? I'm like, I thought I was earning her business. And she said, so I think we're going to put a contract on that tonight. I said, Huda, I wish you the best. I said, I really hope this works out for you. And I was genuinely serious. I hoped it worked out for her. She's been through hell. She called me back the next day. Beverly, are you still available? It's recorded. Are you still available for us to utilize your services for your business, for our business. I said, Huda, what happened? She says, well, I took my daughter to the property and she didn't like it enough for us to put a contract on it. And the agent yelled at us and told us we couldn't make up our minds and that we needed to make a decision, and she was no longer willing to work with us. Huda felt bad leaving this agent for someone that spent 40 minutes on her, educating her in the process. She felt bad leaving this agent that completely did not listen to their needs, nor explain to them what they were getting involved in. Choosing the wrong agent can cost a buyer thousands of dollars. It is your job to save every single person that is within your website. You're paying for these freaking leads for a reason. Go save them from these agents that don't know how to do it. Because it is freaking sad. We had her under contract in 2 days. We were up against 15 offers, guys. 15 freaking offers. Me and my agent sat for 2 hours combing market data and researched the neighborhood to be able to position her with a well-written contract. That appraisal came in at value. The home was listed at 369. We wrote it at 405 and the appraisal came in at value. And she is going to closing next week. And she's already given us a referral and is paying us an extra 0.5% and is paying us $695 gladly. She is a raving fan that's already given us somebody that we're working with right now. And she goes, I have so many people in my community that are looking for a home. In the absence of value, compensation is questioned. Serve. That's going to be the theme of today's webinar. This is a service that we are offering and we owe to people. Because when we just do, we expect. When we serve, we receive. I did not care if I closed her. I did not care if I earned a commission check. What I cared about was saving her freaking money no matter who she closed with. It was an act of service.
Yeah, she could have been in a pretty sticky situation there on the first one that she had written the offer for.
And if I would have been afraid to call my leads, what would have happened to her?
God only knows.
If I would have been afraid to have an uncomfortable situation, if I would have been afraid of the other agent yelling at me because I, was talking to her client, shame on you. Take me to the ethics board because I really don't care. Let's see what comes out. And that is the confidence that we need to have about our business, about our market, about our clients. That's what we bring to the table. So Marianne, I was not soliciting anybody that was under contract. She solicited me. She was a lead that came into my lead generation resources. I simply called her because she gave me her phone number. She gave me her email address. I called her to ask her what her situation is, and she threw up on me. And you heard, let me ask you another question. She asked me to ask me another question. What am I gonna do, hang up on her? Not help her? Sorry, you signed something with somebody else, sorry. It's your bad luck. I gotta sleep at night. I don't care, agent, you can come back on me and yell at me all you want. I did my due diligence. Because who knows what would have happened to her. Yeah, she loved the townhouse, but did she love it $50,000 more? To just give that seller $50,000 more? And that's what I said, she goes, and I ask people, right? How long do you plan on staying in your home? And if you all want the recording, I can download it. So if you private message me, I will send you the whole 40-minute recording. You can listen to the whole thing. I have nothing to hide. But the reality is I asked her, I said, how long do you plan on staying in your home? She goes, forever. I said, awesome. So is it worth $50,000 more for you? She goes, not really. I said, if you're comfortable with the payment and you're comfortable giving the $50,000, do it. But I want you to understand why you're doing it. My job is to give you all the information to make an educated decision, but not to just tell you what to do to win an offer. I said, but I want you to consider this. This may be your forever home. You have a husband, correct? He's helping contribute to the mortgage, correct? Huda, let me ask you, what if something happens to him next year and you have to sell the house? I'm not wishing ill on anybody, but life happens. And we may buy a home that we think is our forever home that may not end up being our forever home. And now we just paid $50,000 over value for it. A year later, we got to sell it. Not only do we pay $50,000 over value, but now we're bringing money to the table to sell the damn house. Oh, we're not bringing the money to the table because we put enough cash down, but we're behind on that money that could have been working for us. If you still want to make that decision moving forward, I'll write the offer for you, or go ahead and keep that offer on the table. I don't solicit anyone that's under contract, but I will have a conversation with somebody if they're asking me questions. We just can't give up that easily.
And it comes across so many times where whether someone's in contract or a lot of them are just working with an agent, or they think they're working with an agent, but they're doing all the work. And then just the agent just opens the door. That's all they're doing is opening the door. Let me take you to this. So you got to show that value. You got to stand out and give them a reason to want to use you, because anyone can open that door.
Absolutely. And that's what most agents are doing right now. And I have another one that I had saved open. Ebenezer's his name. He's written 6 offers on 6 different homes. He's lost every one of them. And I asked him, I said, where are you in the process? He goes, I'm behind is where I am. He said, should I just give up? Is the market going to crash? What's going to happen? We had a long conversation. I said, he wrote 6 different offers with 6 different agents. I said, Ebenezer, I'm not asking you for your business. I, quite frankly, don't care who you use. But what I do care about is positioning you to actually win when you write a contract. What can I do to earn your business, Ebenezer? He said, find me the home. I said, Ebenezer, this is what I'm gonna tell you. The price range that you're looking in, let me tell you what's happening with the market. He's looking between 400,000 and 600,000. I'm sorry, you Canadians, I'm in a low price point compared to you $1 millionaires, right? I'm happy with 600. I'm like, I'm used to a $250,000 market in Virginia, folks. Come on, I get excited about 600,000. I said, here's a reality of what's happening in the market. I said, let's get strategic with your offer, Ebenezer. I said, the reality, when I was looking at my market report between 50,000 increments, the homes at 6 to 650 are reducing in price because the agents are overshooting the market. Not only are they not appraising and selling in the 500s, the prices are coming down. So why are we playing with everybody else and up against multiple offers escalating when we can go above price, be the only offer? They're on the market 30 days. They're chomping at the bit to get an offer. Write it at 600. So you don't have to write it over. You're writing it under in today's market. He's like, I like how you talk. We're not under contract yet, but we've shown him 3 properties. He's not, because I called him back. I sent him a bunch of properties and I didn't hear back from him. I go, Ebenezer, are you cheating on me? What other agent did you call? He's honest. I didn't. I really didn't. I'm out of town. Can you call my girlfriend? Here's my girlfriend's number. And so that's been the running joke. Whenever I don't hear from him in a few days, I'm like, Ebenezer. He's like, I'm not cheating. I promise. In the absence of value, folks, why was he with 6 other agents with 6 other contracts, and why is he sticking with us? Experience. It's a customer experience. It's the level of experience and care and nurturing that we go the extra level. So what the hell are you afraid for whenever you're bringing care, nurturing, asking the questions, and getting him to where he wants to go? he was using 6 different agents because none of them could get the job done. None of them could explain to him. He wrote, this is literal, right? He says, I wrote 30,000 over on all the contracts. Why am I losing them all? I said, Ebenezer, I said, what's the significance of $30,000? He says, well, that's just what I was told was the number. And I'm like, okay. Ask the questions, folks. There was a lot of meat in this webinar. I actually
There was, absolutely. After, I think a lot of information and guidance, really, and just having those experiences, even for yourself with door knocking and being able to relate and having that feeling for sure. I am going to post something in the chat for everyone. You guys can take a look at it or open it before we end so that you have it. It's just a little video that I actually came across. It's a long link for whatever reason, but it's because I shared it from TikTok to Facebook, so that's why it's really long. So let me know if you can open it, but it goes on your focus and your mindset and how we always focus on the one thing. And if we always focus on the negative, everything that comes at us is going to be that negative. We're always just zoning in on that. And then it goes into how some skiers, some really good downhill skiers, they can dodge the trees and they don't even think about it because they're thinking about the path, not the trees. So they're focused on the path. Whereas if you're always focused on the trees, you're just going tree, 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 rather than here's the path. So it's really it's a short 1-minute clip. I thought it was great when I saw it, just about how we perceive things and how we look at things. And really, again, it kind of goes into that whole what we put out there is what we're going to get.
Well, I love when I clicked on it, Crystal, it says the mindset shift will change your life. That in and of itself is powerful because it's true. It's our minds are the only things that are preventing us from not being where we want to be. That's it.
Yeah.
Our mind's job is to protect us. It's okay. But how's that serving a purpose in your life right now? How's that working for you? When we can just have a simple mindset shift and just say, you know what? Thanks for trying to protect me, but I'm bigger than that.
Awesome. Well, this was jam-packed. Love it.
Thank you for the opportunity to share.
Yeah.
As you can tell, I'm very passionate about what I do. I'm willing to take one for the team and go door knock.
There you go. You let us know next time.
I can't wait to go out and door knock.
You go do it. I know a neighborhood where the lady, she picks, and again, this is where you guide it, is know your area. So the smaller it is, the more knowledgeable you can be in it. And there's this one agent that she picks a small community. It's not a huge community. It's a community within the city, but she just hits her streets regularly. She does events, she does everything, but she knows that market. So even back when I was doing real estate, I had a door knock because of an open house, 5-star open house, let everyone know. They're like, well, we love that you're doing this, but if we were to sell, this is who we're going to be using, because she does so much. She comes in, she pops by, we've now built this relationship. So we owe it to her to give her our business when the time comes. We're not moving anytime soon, but we can see the value that she has to offer. And, hey, by all means, you have to respect that.
Yep.
Yeah. And
true.
Perfect.
The more narrow your focus, the broader your business. All right. On that note, we're 6 minutes over, but thank you all so much.
No problem. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks, Beverly, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.